So thanks all for joining me today. I have Jamie Mitchell, who is the founder and CEO of Low6. Low6 offers sports teams, leagues, franchises, influencers, and media outlets with their own fan-engaging sports games. The model creates a unique betting experience where players compete against each other rather than a bookie. Thank you for joining me, Jamie.
Nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me on, Jane.
Let me bring up your presentation. We can jump into it.
Sounds good. Perfect. Thanks for inviting me today, Jane, to talk about Low6. We're an influencer-led B2B gamification platform for sports clubs and franchises around the world. I suppose really Low6 at the heart of what we do. We're a technology company. As we said, we use gamification to create games for sports franchises, leagues, teams, media outlets nationwide and actually globally as we move into 2022. We have unique access to over 100 million sports teams, official rights holder applications. That number keeps continually growing. I think the key to what Low6 do is we help franchises monetize their digital platforms. And we do that in various means and methodologies. And we also use our sort of gambling licenses, which we are amassing again on a global stage currently. We help partners with their digital value and also monetize their fan base. Here's a short video just explaining some of the work that Low6 do with our franchises globally. So how do we help sports franchises and clubs and teams and leagues monetize? Well, we've created a proprietary technology stack that we call Nova internally. That helps us identify the audience. It KYCs that audience to make sure that they're age gated, that they're applicable to be able to use our platforms and our games. And then we traverse across regulated and unregulated markets globally. We offer a white labeled solution, so a franchise can pick a mix style, if you like, from the following kind of iterations. So it's prize draws, trivias and quizzes, pool betting, peer-to-peer against your friends. We have a fancy iteration, picks games, and we move into subscriptions, statistics, etc. So our tech platform, we believe, is completely positioned now to offer franchises globally the very best of technology that we've been creating now for over 5 years. So how does that technology stack manifest itself? Here's some examples of some of the partners that we work with and some of the rights holder applications we've created. So working from left to right, you'll notice Arsenal Fan TV, which is one of the biggest fan channels on YouTube. Those guys were looking to monetize an audience using a picks platform. And above that, you can see a prize draw, which was sort of installed in the top part of that particular application. Just to give you an idea of the numbers, we actually sold over 5,000 prize draw tickets in a 72-hour period using the Arsenal Fan TV platform. Over in the UK and Ireland, we're the official pool betting partner of the Ultimate Fighting Championships, the UFC. We launched with Conor McGregor's fight against Dustin Poirier. We effectively help the UFC monetize their audience using a very simple pick'ems product, swiping left, swiping right to select your fighter. We launched a fantasy product called Ultimate Fan, which was the #1 app in the UK and Ireland app stores, both in terms of downloads and grossing revenues. The revenues are all derived via subscription. You effectively get a pack at random. That pack contains the cards that you can see illustrated on the screen. You would drag your players into position and they would score points depending on their performance. We have a partnership with Uber Eats. In the UK, we offer up to £1 million as first prize if you can correctly select 7 scores over the course of the weekend. And everybody who plays that game gets a £5 Uber Eats voucher just for entering. We have a media partnership with Sky Business. Sky Business were challenged to try and activate their pub audience in the UK and Ireland. Low6 provided a quiz application called Pub Wars, which pits other pubs against each other in a trivia-based question. That takes place every evening at 6 p.m. and we see pubs competing against each other all over the world. And finally, we're the technology partner of the betting company Toto, and we launched nationally in Holland a product that we call Score4. Score4, again, similar vein to the Uber Eats proposition, allows players to try and correctly select 4 scores to try and win €5,000. So hopefully you can see all of our products there are simple, fun, socially sort of accepted, and they gamify an audience for our partners. Talking about Low6 and our business journey, 2020 we very much established our strategic partnerships globally. We started to really roll out those partnerships with NBA franchises, NFL franchises across the UK, onboarding over 30 different franchises, and still that number rises. 2021 to 22, we optimized. We really then started to curate a database globally that we think is very strong. We started then to monetize our pay-to-play gamified options across the UK, Ireland, where we have the gambling licenses currently, with more licenses pending in the Northern Territories of Australia and the Isle of Man. And then 2022 and 23 is very much our transformational year, where the revenues we expect to derive are significantly higher, where we start to build over 1 million users in America, converting those users into sort of paying customers with other sports books, and we very much expect to be on the curve that takes us to almost 2 million users across the States over the course of the next 2 years. Transformational growth for Low6. We had our first sort of liquidity event funding in December last year, and as you can see, we've now onboarded over 276,000 players onto the platform, over 2 million logins, 63% monthly retention, and we see an average of around 11 picks per player per month. I think the interesting point on this slide is very much around the demographic of our user base, which is absolutely Gen Z, millennial type users, which is very interesting to all of the partners that we work with, and certainly the sportsbook CPAs that we derive are very, very much driven by this age range in our audience. Looking at Low6's US strategy, we very much intend to stay as a free-to-play player for the next 12 months. We'll activate the US market using our enormous distribution network. We'll be putting out free-to-play iterations across all of the states, not just the legalized states. We're very much rolling out free-to-play across the whole of the USA. We'll be working with franchises as their official Pick'ems app. We'll also be working with colleges to amass the largest college database in the whole of North America. So very much the play for Low6 as we move into 2022 is to activate the free-to-play market across the United States. The benefits to a franchise or a college for using a Low6 activation, it's very much to curate and harvest data, particularly for sports books, as we know the landscape is so attractive right now. To absolutely ensure that we increase the value of the database for the colleges and the sports franchises. And we certainly do add new sponsorship opportunities for all of the franchises and the commercial teams that we work with. All of that results in big data. Big data is at the heart of everything Low6 do. we're now able to offer, as we say, our sportsbook friends over in the United States and Europe, the ability to curate data that allows them to purchase the data from ourselves, to very much then harness the data that's been age gated, shows high propensity to bet players, customer segmentation for their own use, to convert onto their sports books. And we see, good opportunity state by state as they legalize, for Low6 to be at the heart of every sportsbook strategy in terms of onboarding players as we move into 2022. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen. Welcome any questions, Jane.
Well, thank you for that, Jamie. Great presentation. We have had a few questions come through, so I'll jump into them. So we've seen fixed odds racing become legal in parts of the US with anticipation for more states to follow. So what sort of impact does this have on Low6's presence in the US?
Yeah, absolutely. So our US presence is very much going to be working hand in glove with sportsbooks to curate data for them. So absolutely, we'll be running gamification across all of the states to understand who enjoys horse racing in those legalized states. And we'll be working to offer a very tailored experience for players who enjoy sports, horse racing in particular, and working with the sports books to ensure they get the best offers provided to them.
Perfect. And as we know, Low6 is an incredible growth story, and it seems that there's major room for expansion into more countries across the world. So hopefully with an successful IPO that is hopefully anticipated, would you look to expand across the globe? And if so, what is your estimated time frame?
Yeah, sure. So we'll see huge expansion into North America in the next 6 months. Really excited to announce some of the partners we'll be going live with in the coming days and weeks, including 3 NFL franchises we'll be announcing this week, and then some very exciting partnerships in the college space, again, to be announced in the next week to 10 days. After America, absolutely our ambition is global. We're very much looking across Europe at the moment. We're applying for various licenses globally. We've just had our Northern Territories license in Australia provisionally granted to us. We're waiting for the formal approval. And then we'll absolutely be looking to go into Asia following all of those successful launches. So yes, global ambition for us, Jane, is very much to have a presence almost everywhere globally.
Wonderful. And look, it's clear that Low6 is attempting to soften the stigma within the wagering industry, and it's created in such a way that it generally reduces risk and potential losses. So do you think this model will play a role in the willingness of clubs, franchises, and influencers to work with the company?
Yeah, absolutely, Jane. We've got proof points now across Europe of that exact case study. Clubs prepared to work with us because they feel we're a much softer approach to wagering than some of the traditional sports books. We expect that trend to continue with increasing regulation across all of the markets globally. So yeah, I think we're a very friendly, soft alternative actually for franchises looking to monetize their audience that particularly used to rely on sports books to prop them up from a financial perspective. Low6 now is a really viable and credible option.
And finally, so what can we expect from Low6 in the coming months?
Really aggressive growth, really, Jane. Globally, we'll be looking to have our sort of presence in all corners of the globe. Some really exciting products to launch. I think when people see our North American expansion, I think it will become really exciting for investors and the public at large. So yeah, I think keep your eyes peeled on Low6. We're certainly somebody to look out for in the next 12 to 18 months.
Wonderful. Well, thanks again for joining me today. Look forward to further updates.
Thank you, Jane.